Praise the Lord. One of the many traits that was instilled in me by my father is the importance of punctuality. This was reaffirmed at the first church that I served at in ministry with my pastor and boss, a former employee at NASA. I learned the hard way that if you plan to be right on time, something will inevitably come up causing you to be late. To be on time, you must work in advance to be ready and waiting. Ready and waiting. A few quotes on this. It says, better 3 hours too soon than a minute too late, said William Shakespeare. Strict punctuality is a cheap virtue, said Benjamin Franklin. Charles Dickens added, I never could have done what I have done without the habits of punctuality, order, and diligence. Another quote reads, it is difficult to prove yourself reliable when people are required to wait for you, by Coach Wes Fesler. Preparedness and punctuality are two of the most important qualities of a leader. And finally, Zero Dean quoted, consistently being on time is the product of proper planning, personal discipline, and a respect for other people's time. Making a habit of being late, it demonstrates none of these things and is often a sign of patchy priorities and selfishness. Habitual lateness says, my time is more valuable than yours. Learn to be reliable and a person of integrity by adopting the discipline necessary to be on time. For those who know me, I like to be on time. I hate being late. On a few occasions as a child, I wanted to be on time so bad that I went to sleep fully dressed in my school uniform, my hair combed, locked in place with several coats of hairspray. My younger brother, Justin, can testify that in high school, I'd often leave him at home rather than be late for school. Now that I'm married and I have 3 young children, being on time is quite a challenge. And I admit that I often aggravate my wife, Alonda, with my obsession with being on time. For example, there could be nothing scheduled or planned for our day, but we discuss going to the grocery store around 3 p.m. There's no appointment. We're not meeting anyone. It is an arbitrary time. But as we approach 3, I find myself counting down the minutes, hurrying and urging our family to get out the door. God bless my wife, and please keep her in your prayers. There are multiple references in the Bible about time and punctuality. But if there is one day, one event that we must be ready and waiting, it is for the coming of the Lord. Luke 12:35-40 says, be dressed for service and keep your lamps burning as though you were waiting for your master to return from the wedding feast. Then you will be ready to open the door and let him in the moment he arrives and knocks. Verse 37, the servants who are ready and waiting for his return will be rewarded. I tell you the truth, he himself will seat them, put on an apron, and serve them as they sit and eat. He may come up in the middle of the night or just before dawn, but whenever he comes, he will reward the servants who are ready. Verse 39, understand this. If a homeowner knew exactly when a burglar was coming, he would not permit his house to be broken into. And finally, verse 40, you also must be ready all the time, for the Son of Man will come when least expected. Punctuality really is a virtue. It's a reflection of your character and a wonderful discipline to adopt. If you struggle with being on time, I encourage you to make that a focus for improvement in your life. But more importantly, I want to encourage you today and simply remind you to make your top priority in life to be ready and waiting for the return of the Lord.